MSW Media.
News with swearing. Daily beans, daily beans. Daily beans, daily beans.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Beans for Thursday, November 6th, 2025. Today, Democrats sweep elections nationwide, sending a strong message of rebuke to Trump and Republicans. Maryland Governor Wes Moore has set up a redistricting commission to redraw congressional maps in Maryland. Kansas has decided against redistricting in favor of Republicans. Judge Ellis held her preliminary injunction hearing in Chicago that included questioning of Gregory Bovino. There was a hearing in the Comey case, and it did not go well for the government. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments in the Trump tariff case, and the sandwich guy jury is deliberating after closing arguments. I'm Allison Gill.
And I'm Dana Goldberg.
Hey, my friend. Happy Thursday. How are you? Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for covering me. I was traveling back to the East Coast. I'm okay. I've still, whatever this cold is, has traveled down to my chest. So we're getting through it. But yeah, it's been everyone. If you believe in vaccines, and I think you do, I don't know what this is. So maybe get your flu and COVID booster. Protect
just
yourself.
Get them all. Get your pneumonia if you're of that age like I am. Get your shingles vaccine. I had to redo my tetanus booster.
Yeah.
Get them all. Get them all. Just in case. You never know what's out there.
No kidding.
Measles is currently out there. Make sure you're like, I had to ask my doctor, do I need to update my measles vaccine?
I think I actually have to.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Anyway, I woke up in a good mood politically for the first time in a really long time.
I had a little hangover. I had a little election hangover this morning.
It was a really nice morning in the United States, at least nicer than it has been. I know there's still a lot of horseshit going on. Don't get me wrong. But what a shot in the arm. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I need to issue a correction. Yesterday in the video podcast that we are currently releasing to patrons, that we're going to be releasing to the public on December 1st, I was under the impression that the Sandwich Guy trial, that the defense and the prosecution had rested. They did not. They actually came back to court today on Wednesday, November 5th for closing arguments.
Can I tell you how mad I am that I missed that episode? We were texting everybody and I was like, I can't believe I'm fucking traveling right now. I mean, the tweets and the blue skies that were coming out of the testimony, real things that were said in court. I was
Do you recognize this sandwich? Do you recognize the sandwich? Oh my God. I want to see it done. I want to see it reenacted as A Few Good Men.
No, so good. So good.
I really, really do. Like just the yelling, the Nicholson, the Tom Cruise. Like I want to see that. I want to see a play called 12 Hangry Men. I want someone to write that, as I talked about yesterday. But you and I don't fret, Dana, because you and I today in our video podcast are going to get to go over those closing arguments, and they're just as amazing as the testimony that happened.
Amazing. I can't wait.
Now, Sandwich Guy did not testify in his own defense, and the jury deliberated for a couple hours without reaching a verdict today, which is, I think, a bad sign for the government. You'd think simple assault with a sandwich would be an open and shut case. It should be an open and shut case, but it seems like maybe there are some holdouts on that jury that are trying to do a little jury nullification action. So that's bad news for the Department of Justice. But you were going to be hard pressed to find 12 people to agree to convict Sandwich Guy in the District of Columbia, I think.
I think you're right, but we'll definitely keep you posted on that case. My goodness.
We certainly will. All right. So elections. Oh my gosh. I have never seen, my top line thought, Dana, I've never seen the results and calls come back so fast.
Agreed.
After polls closed.
Yeah. And thank goodness, I would have been up so late on the East Coast. And we're not even just talking about Prop 50. I mean, Prop 50 came back literally when the polls closed.
Mm-hmm.
Which
New
is
York,
wild. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Mamdani took about 20 minutes for a decision desk. Abigail Spanberger, right when polls closed, they called it for her. Mikey Sherrill was within 20, 25 minutes on the decision desk, maybe about 40 or 45 minutes for the people, the NBCs of the world, the folks who don't like to call things until multiple other outlets call them. But yeah, it was so fast because it was so overwhelmingly Democratic that it was, there just wasn't, you didn't have to wait. It wasn't too close for anything to call. I think maybe the attorney general race in Virginia might have taken a little extra moment, but man, everything from the trifecta in Virginia, lieutenant governor, attorney general, flipped a bunch of seats. Let's talk about it. This is from The Guardian. America gave Donald Trump a bloody nose, is how it opens. On the first big election night since Trump swept into power, the results were better than Democrats could have dared hope. That is very true. We've been very cautiously optimistic. Zohran Mamdani stormed to a convincing victory over the Trump-endorsed Andrew Cuomo in the race for mayor of New York, America's biggest city.
What I loved, Mikey Sherrill and Abigail Spanberger, they won the governor's races in New Jersey and Virginia by double-digit percentages.
Yeah.
They outpaced Kamala Harris's performance against Trump a year ago. It's crazy. One of the things I love about them, I don't know if you know, they were roommates in Washington when they were reps, which is that's just a great story. This marks the first time, by the way, that Democrats have won 3 consecutive gubernatorial elections in New Jersey since 1961. And if you look at these numbers, you look at Mamdani, you look at Sherrill and Spanberger's numbers, I believe all of them crossed over that 50%. That's a mandate. This bullshit that Trump's talking about, that he's got a mandate and the people, gave them a mandate with the House, the Senate, and the presidency. He didn't get 50% of this country. Every single one of these people, I believe, broke 50%.
Oh,
and Spanberger's was high, like 59 or 56 or 59%. Mikey Sherrill's as well. So I just want to make the point that's a mandate.
Yeah. And there have been some naysayers who say that Mamdani wasn't a mandate because he barely broke 50%, where like Mikey Sherrill got, won by, I think it was 11, and Abigail Spanberger won by 14, like really big, bigger margins. And then some folks are comparing, well, New York went for Kamala 68 and Mamdani only got 50. What they're leaving out, this is just a disingenuous argument from people who are just mad that Mamdani won. That's all this is, because first of all, none of those other races were three-person races with another Democrat in the race. So getting more than 50% in a 3-person race with 2 Democrats is absolutely a mandate. Getting 50% in any 3-person race is a mandate. You can't compare Mamdani's race to Mikey Sherrill's, to Kamala Harris's, to Joe Biden's, to Abigail Spanberger's, because that's there's 3 people in that race. So
absolutely. And Cuomo was considered a Democrat. The only reason he ran as an independent is because he lost the primaries. So that also goes to saying, I mean, I tell you, whether you would have voted for Mamdani or not, this is a movement and this is a shift. And I think people need to pay attention. He ran a hell of a campaign.
Yeah. And you can't just assume that all of Cuomo's votes would have gone to Sliwa or all of Sliwa's votes would have gone to Cuomo. It's just a disingenuous argument. And people who are making it are just, they didn't want Mamdani to win. That's for whatever their personal reasons are. Also, the blue wave kept coming. California approved, like you said, Prop 50. And we did it the minute polls closed.
2-1.
I was sitting at my friends and I was like, this could take weeks. We count really slow in California. It takes us forever. And we're just sitting there. I'm like, polls are closing in 2 minutes. And then, we have a call. Prop 50 has passed. I'm like, what? My jaw hit the floor. I posted. I wasn't ready. I didn't even have my social media. Usually I have something ready to go, like that I can just hit send on. I was just completely surprised by that.
We're ready to fight back. That's exactly what it was. We were fighting back against this bullshit to get the House of Representatives back. I mean, Democrats retained 3 crucial seats on Pennsylvania Supreme Court. I don't think people are talking about this one enough. And in the Virginia state legislature, House Democrats flipped 13 for their biggest majority in nearly 40 years. I saw a map that every district for the governor's race turned blue.
Yeah.
Every district. Tonight was an earthquake election in Virginia. That was from Heather Williams. She's the president of the Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee. It was incredible.
Yeah, earthquake is a good way to put it. And, you and I were talking about this before the election. Virginia is one of the most impacted states by DOGE and government shutdown and contractors working for the government. And so, yeah, they really spoke very, very loudly and decisively there.
Yeah, you can't fire half the state and expect to win it.
We flipped 13 seats. That's just bizarre and amazing. Also, after 13 years, Mississippi Democrats broke the Republican Party's supermajority in the Mississippi Senate. For the first time in 13 years, voters elected Democrats to 2 seats previously held by Republicans, reducing the number of Republican senators in the upper chamber from 36 to 34. One fewer than you need to constitute a supermajority. So they broke that.
That is phenomenal.
2 flips broke that 13-year-long supermajority.
This next one is also one of my favorite Democrats, Alicia Johnson and Peter Hubbard. They dealt the GOP a significant blow Tuesday night, prying statewide seats away from Republican incumbents on the powerful Georgia Public Service Commission. This is one of the only big high federal positions that have never been held by Democrats. That literally just sets Georgia's powers, electricity rates, and regulates other utilities. But I am telling you, they've never been held by Democrats in the history of the country.
Yeah. Yeah. So real bad night for Donald Trump and Republicans. Donald Trump, I think, put out on True Social, he blamed the fact that he wasn't on the ballot.
Right.
And the government shutdown.
Yeah.
To which I was like, oh, so it is a Republican shutdown then? Is that
I noticed that. Yeah. I noticed that. He said the Republican shutdown. I was like, there we go.
That's very interesting that you're admitting that it is the Republicans' fault and that they're getting blamed for the shutdown. Yeah, maybe that Gatsby party didn't help. And
not when there's footage.
Yeah, and you taking away SNAP benefits.
No.
And of course, the number one issue is affordability. Obviously, everyone who ran on affordability, which was basically all the Democrats, just absolutely killed it. We smashed it. It was an incredible night. It was also a bad day for Donald Trump in the Supreme Court today. The tariffs case is being heard. Remember, Trump is trying to issue tariffs under a law that doesn't even mention the word tariff.
Yeah. I'm only laughing because they got their lawyers, they got the federal lawyers, Trump's lawyers, to admit that the American people are paying the tariffs.
Yeah, they sure did. They sure did. And it did not go well. Supreme Court, this is Politico, seems poised to take at least some of that power away from Donald Trump. The mood inside the Trump administration following oral arguments on Wednesday is grim, according to people close to the White House, granted anonymity. The court hearing comes at a difficult time for the administration, which is reeling from the Republicans' electoral defeat that the president tied to a record-breaking shutdown, while his allies fault him for not talking more about economic concerns. So during the oral arguments, several high court justices appeared very skeptical of Trump's sweeping use of the IEEPA, that's the International Emergency Economic Powers Act from 1977, that the president used to slap tariffs on every U.S. trading partner, including the Penguins, without consulting Congress. Even a partial ruling against Trump, upholding his ability to levy tariffs in some circumstances and not others, would still be a huge blow to Trump, who has made tariffs not only the centerpiece of his second-term economic platform, which is failing, but crucial to his foreign policy strategy as well, which also sucks. So, I don't know how being able to continue using tariffs is somehow supposed to make him awesome. Anyway, he tied his ability to levy tariffs at a moment's notice to peace efforts like India and Pakistan. It also a political weapon that he's using most recently to punish Canada for a television ad he didn't like during the World Series. Losing the ability to economically cripple another country on a whim, Dana, would fundamentally change how Trump interacts with friends and foes alike. So there's a lot of really great coverage of these oral arguments out there by people who are incredible court watchers like Dahlia Lithwick and Steve Vladeck. And I recommend you check out the blogs and the podcasts that they put out on these oral arguments. I wouldn't recommend listening to them unless you can put up with listening to John Sauer's voice. I cannot. And I also, even when Kavanaugh is doing on the right side of something, I just can't listen to his voice. I just can't. I don't know, something about it. But anyway, it was a really, really bad couple of days for Donald Trump and Republicans, which makes me very happy. And I hope it's brought a smile to everyone's face as well.
I hope it's given us a little bit, we'll talk about more of this on the video podcast, but I hope it's just given everyone a little shot of hope that things aren't rigged. Like maybe I know they're trying to gerrymander, but I'm talking about like voting machines, those sorts of things. They wanted these governorships. They wanted them badly and they needed them. So I hope it puts a little more faith back in the general public. Don't put your guard down, but make sure you do not lose hope for the midterms and you get out and vote regardless of what you see out there.
Yes, you see, we do have free and fair elections and we can win them. So just keep that in mind and in heart. And there were a ton of, I talked about this yesterday on the podcast, bomb threats that were, being called in New Jersey at polling sites. We had poll watchers come in from the Department of Justice of 5 counties in California. We had, so they're trying. And it's not working yet so far. There are just more of us than there are of them. All right. We have a lot more news to get to, but we do have to take a quick break. So everybody stick around. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, everybody. With WildGrain, you can fill your home with the smell of fresh baked bread anytime. Especially if you're like me and you're not generally good at baking, this makes it so simple. It's the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads and pastries and pastas that cook in under 25 minutes. WildGrain uses simple ingredients you can actually recognize in a slow fermentation process for better texture and nutrients. Each box is fully customizable, and now you can choose from classic, gluten-free, or plant-based collections that feature seasonal goodies. So thanks to WildGrain for supporting our show. Check this deal out. This is amazing. For a limited time, WildGrain is offering you $30 off your first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/dailybeans to start your subscription, or you can use promo code dailybeans at checkout. Who doesn't love croissants in the morning? Oh my gosh. WildGrain has completely changed the way I approach holiday meals too. My latest box had sourdough Parmesan herb biscuits and the tear and share cranberry pecan rolls. They stole the show. The apple pie bites were a close second, warm, buttery, and gone within minutes. Dana has a gluten-free box. She was thrilled with her delivery. Everything baked perfectly, tasted homemade, and was ready in under 25 minutes. It's amazing. So this year, WildGrain is my go-to for entertaining. The breads and pastries make any spread look impressive with zero stress. I plan to grab a few items in bulk so I can have warm bread ready whenever guests stop by this season. It's also an easy gift idea. Whether you send a box or an e-gift card for someone else to enjoy, from cozy weekend brunches to busy weeknight dinners, WildGrain adds that perfect touch of warmth and simplicity to my kitchen. So for a limited time, WildGrain is offering you $30 off your first box plus free croissants in every box. Just go to wildgrain.com/dailybeans to start your subscription. You heard me, free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box. Just go to wildgrain.com/dailybeans. Everybody, welcome back. It's time for the Hot Notes. Hot Notes. All right, first up from Politico, Maryland Democratic Governor Wes Moore is pushing to redraw the state's congressional maps, announcing on Tuesday the creation of a commission that will propose new lines ahead of the 2026 midterms. That he did this before Prop 50 was passed, so that was probably just a nice shot in the arm. Moore's announcement that he's creating the governor's redistricting advisory commission comes a week after Democratic State Senate President Bill Ferguson sent a letter to dozens of state lawmakers declaring the Senate is choosing not to move forward with mid-cycle redistricting. It sets up a clash between the two Democratic leaders in a blue-leaning state where any efforts to redraw the map will net a single seat, given that Maryland Democrats already dominate the state's congressional delegation with 7 of its 8 U.S. House seats. It also comes as Democrats are ramping up their efforts to change maps to match Trump's moves, redistricting red-leaning states to net additional seats for Republicans. I just find it fascinating. They already have 7 of the 8 seats, and they're just going to grab that other one. I'm like, great, pack and crack the white people.
Why not?
And then say, oh, this is political. It's not race-based. And see how this particular Supreme Court responds to to pack and crack to dilute white people's votes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not about race. It's just not. Go ahead and try to make it. I dare you. Just like I dare you. All right. Quote, my commitment has been clear from day one. We will explore every avenue possible to make sure Maryland has fair and representative maps. That's what Moore said in a statement on Tuesday. This commission will ensure the people are heard. The commission will be chaired by Maryland Democratic Senator Angela Also Brooks, who I love, a close ally of Wes Moore, who helped get her elected to Senate last year. Moore's other appointees include Brian Frosch, the state's former Democratic Attorney General, who served under former Republican Governor Larry Hogan, and Ray Morris, the nonpartisan mayor of the city of Cumberland. The other appointees on the commission include Maryland House Speaker Adrienne Jones, who's been public about her intent to launch a redistricting push, and Ferguson, or designee. In a statement, Ferguson suggested he's open to Marylanders hearing opposing concerns and that following through on a redistricting push could backfire on Democrats and unintentionally give Donald Trump 1 or 2 additional congressional seats. Maryland's Supreme Court does lean conservative. 5 of their 7 justices were appointed by Larry Hogan, underscoring Ferguson's concern that future legal battles challenging newly created maps may ultimately be detrimental to Democrats. I'm not sure if it's going to be detrimental to the Democrats as much as it might be overturned by their conservative Supreme Court, but we'll see.
Yeah, I actually want to talk more about these maps now that we saw these election results in our video podcast, but we got to save some of that because I want to make sure we hit these stories. This one's from the Associated Press. The Kansas House's top Republican on Tuesday dropped efforts to force a redraw of U.S. House districts that would have thrust the state into a widening national battle for partisan advantage in 2026 elections. Well, the announcement by House Speaker Dan Hawkins ended a weeks-long push by GOP lawmakers to circumvent Democratic Governor Laura Kelly and call themselves into special session on redistricting, which would have convened Friday. A session would have targeted 4-term U.S. Rep. Sharice Davids, who happens to be a lesbian, by the way, the only Democrat in the state's 4-person House delegation. Republicans still could draw a map designed to oust her after the GOP supermajority legislature convenes its next regular annual session in January. Indeed, State Senate President Ty Masterson promised immediately after Hawkins' announcement that redistricting would be a top priority early next year. Kansas Republicans were trying to answer Trump's call for states to redraw their maps to give the GOP more winning seats ahead of the 2026 midterm so the party stands a better chance of actually keeping their slim majority in the House. The Kansas Constitution allowed Republicans to bypass Kelly's refusal to call a special session by having 2/3 of the members of both chambers sign a petition. The GOP has the necessary supermajority in both chambers, and enough GOP senators were on board, but a few House Republicans, they wouldn't sign. Some GOP critics opposed a mid-decade redistricting, while others feared that changes might make the 3 other Republican-held districts more competitive for Democrats. That's what happens when you steal from Paul to pay Mary, or to pay Peter, or whoever the fuck you're trying to pay.
I love when you use these Gentile phrases.
And I get them wrong.
We rob from Peter to pay Paul.
That's what it is.
Over where in the non-chosen ones world. That's what
I'm like, that's what happens when you take John's money to pay Jimmy. And this is a quote. Planning a special session is always going to be an uphill battle with multiple agendas, scheduling conflicts, many unseen factors at play. That's from Hawkins. That's what she said in a statement. Davids conceded that the fight over a new Kansas map isn't over. She said, "We've won the first round in this fight against gerrymandering. Kansas lawmakers haven't done a mid-decade congressional redistricting since 1965, following federal court's rulings requiring congressional and legislative districts to be as nearly equal in population as possible as a matter of fairness to all voters. Most of David's district is in the Kansas City area, dominated by Johnson County. Now, Johnson County is the state's most populous county. It is highly likely that Republicans would have to split Johnson County between at least 2 districts to hurt Davids, enough for her to lose in 2026. She's very, very popular, and that can alienate voters there. GOP lawmakers in Texas, Missouri, and North Carolina, they have heeded the president's call for maps, some unconstitutionally, creating 7 additional Republican seats among them. California countered that in a constitutionally done election, and that initiative on Tuesday's ballot to pick up 5 Democratic seats, at least 5, by the way, 5 Democratic seats there, and that has passed because that was Prop 50.
We should really just do all of them, all 9.
Let's do it.
Of the 52. It's like just all 52. We can do it. We have enough Democrats.
Why not?
We just have to pack and crack the white people. That's all. Let's, I say stick it to them. And by the way, I think what you should do from now on is just say Rob blank to pay blank. Just fill in random names from now on.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll
Rob
actually
Elmer
have people
to pay
write it.
Chet. Whatever
You got
it is. Rob Walmart to pay
To pay
Payless
Target.
shoes.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
it is. Just
That's
like
what we're going to do, everyone. Bear with me. We started a new game, and it's solely mine.
Excellent. All right. Next up from Politico, a federal magistrate judge scolded Justice Department prosecutors Wednesday for an indict first, investigate second posture in the criminal case against Jim Comey, raising new questions about, quote, highly unusual cases, and that this was ordered up at Trump's command. Magistrate Judge William Fitzpatrick raised his concerns at a hearing to resolve questions about how prosecutors were handling evidence against Comey, who is facing that really lame 2-count indictment for allegedly lying to Congress in 2020 about testimony he gave in 2017 about the FBI's investigation into Trump's contacts with Russia. It's so convoluted, Dana, that they even had to file a bill of particulars saying, can you just please explain what the lie was exactly?
Oh, my God.
So the indictment was engineered by Trump in September after he demanded Bondi bring immediate prosecutions in a Truth Social post that was supposed to be a DM, but he put out publicly. He pressed her to appoint his former personal lawyer, Lindsay Halligan, to the office in Virginia. And Halligan, who was seated at the DOJ table Wednesday in this hearing, personally secured the indictment against Comey. She's the only one who signed it. She's the only one who presented to the grand jury. Now, Halligan's unusual role, single-handedly presenting to the grand jury and securing the indictment without support of career prosecutors, has drawn significant scrutiny. It has formed the basis of Comey's effort to sink his indictment by labeling it vindictive and selective. It's part of Trump's vendetta. Comey was seated quietly alongside his attorneys during the 50-minute hearing with his wife and son-in-law, former federal prosecutor Troy Edwards, in the gallery directly behind him. The hearing drew a much sparser crowd than Comey's arraignment last month when he made his first appearance in the case and pled not guilty. Fitzpatrick's concerns, this is Comey's attorney, stem from prosecutors' handling of materials seized through 4 search warrants issued against a Comey associate, Daniel Richman, in 2019 and 2020. This is when the FBI's handling of the Russia probe was first scrutinized by investigators. Durham, he got all this information in 4 search warrants from Daniel Richman back then. Richman advised Comey at the FBI until Comey was fired by Trump in May of 2017. Comey's attorneys say that the seized materials may include privileged information because Richman was a lawyer for Comey at one time. And neither Richman or Comey have had a chance to review these files to say, hey, this is privileged stuff. There's usually a filter team called a taint team that goes through all of this. It's a very big, long process. You'll recall when they searched Michael Cohen's house because he was a lawyer, or when they searched Rudy Giuliani's house because he was a lawyer. The FBI people who seized this stuff is different from the investigative team. And before the FBI who sees the stuff can give it to the FBI investigators, there's a whole group of people in between that filter this stuff and go through it and decide what's privileged and then show it to Rudy, and Rudy gets a chance to say it's privileged. And then there's a little bit of a court battle, and then they decide what is and what isn't privileged. And then all that can go to the investigatory team. That didn't happen here. So these guys are tainted. Fitzpatrick vented frustration at the Justice Department's inability to characterize how it handled the search warrant materials during the original review and in its most recent effort to charge Comey. And he ordered prosecutors to turn all of it over to Comey's defense lawyers by tonight.
Oh, wow.
Andy McCabe and I are going to cover this on this weekend's Unjustified podcast, but there's 26 ways that this indictment gets dismissed, and that's just one of them, Dana.
Amazing. I can't wait for that day to happen. This one's from CBS. For the first time, body camera and surveillance video showing contentious moments between federal immigration agents and protesters in the Chicago area was shown in federal court as a federal judge decides whether to place long-term limits on agents' tactics during Operation Midway Blitz. A group of protesters and journalists, they have sued the Trump administration over immigration agents' aggressive tactics in Chicago particularly, and U.S. District Judge Sarah Ellis already had issued a temporary restraining order prohibiting agents from using tear gas and other riot control weapons against people who do not pose an immediate threat. Agents also are required to issue 2 warnings before deploying tear gas or using other riot control weapons. Over the last few days, lawyers in the case, they were able to interview Border Patrol Commander-at-Large Gregory Bovino. He's the man in charge of Operation Midway Blitz in a lengthy deposition in the case.
He's the guy who dresses like Himmler. Have you seen him recently? Did you see his trench coat and the haircut, the Goebbels, the fucking Eamon Goeth Schindler's List haircut he had going into court? Oh my God.
He's playing the part. He's very proud of it.
Oh, my God.
Portions of his testimony, they were played in court on Wednesday during a hearing on the plaintiff's request for a long-term injunction, restricting agents' aggressive tactics. Protesters gathered outside the Dirksen Federal Courthouse Wednesday morning as the hearing got underway, while U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Commander Bovino had to answer to Judge Sarah Ellis in person last week. He was not in court on Wednesday, though. Instead, attorneys played portions of Bovino's recorded deposition as testimony in the case, as well as body camera footage that he reviewed during his deposition. One of the body camera videos played in court showed Bovino telling agents, "Arrest as many people that touch you as you want to. Everybody gets it if they touch you. This is our fucking city."
Oh, my God.
Yep. Bovino was asked by attorneys what he meant by that. When someone impedes or obstructs or assaults, then those Border Patrol agents have a right to arrest him. That's what they said, to arrest them. The commander sat twice for a deposition interview where he was asked about his and his agents' use of force during Operation Midway Blitz. His answers they're going to help inform Ellis's decision on whether or not she would make permanent or otherwise extend her temporary restraining order, setting rules around when it's appropriate for agents to use force in ongoing immigration operations in Chicago. Several witnesses testified on Wednesday about their experience with federal agents, including clergy members who testified that others were struck by pepper balls. I don't know if you remember. I believe it was a priest that got shot from a rooftop.
He's one of the plaintiffs in this case.
Yeah. Surveillance video from that September 19th incident outside the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Broadview showed that it was a Reverend David Black, looking up at officers on the roof of the building. He said, "I was warning ICE officers of the consequences of their actions in the words of Jesus and the words he taught us to use." That's what Black testified. Video showed him with his arms extended at one point, which he called a posture of prayer, before agents shot him several times with pepper balls.
I didn't know raising your arms in the air was a
usually that's
act.
When you're like, that's usually when you're like, I'm not armed.
Isn't that a surrender thing?
I do believe it was at one time. Video shows him, like I said, with his arms extended. Now, Bovino has maintained that his officers, the use of force, has been exemplary. Really. And government lawyers have argued agents will protect people's rights to free speech.
Oh, really?
But
like
not the right to assemble?
Journalist? When you hit the journalist with a chemical munition in her car? That kind of free speech or no?
I don't know. I guess what's good for them. Am I allowed to mess up those things? What's good for them, not for us, is the gander. Judge Ellis has said she expects to issue a written ruling on whether to issue a long-term restraining order within 14 days of Wednesday's hearing. Now, meantime, she said she plans to extend the temporary restraining order until November 19th to keep it in place until she's decided on longer-term injunction.
All right, so that'll be coming around the bend pretty soon. We've also got a couple of extensions of other temporary restraining orders against deploying National Guard to Portland, although Judge Emmergut has turned that into a preliminary injunction now. We're also looking at one in Chicago where Judge Ellis is, but that's a different case. That's the one where Illinois is actually suing the Trump administration for deployment of National Guard. And Trump has gone to the Supreme Court over it. That happens November 17th. That's when they have to be fully briefed on that particular case. Remember when they were like, could you define regular forces for us? The Supreme Court, we need you to tell us what you mean by regular forces.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all due on the 17th of November. So
okay.
It's all kind of come to a head right around the same time, and we'll cover it here. Also, your good trouble.
What are you guys doing?
Your good trouble today is to take a break and pat yourself on the back and high five yourself.
I like this one.
For all of the work that we did, because we fucking did it. We fucking did it.
We really did. Last night, I know while you're listening to this, I guess it was 2 nights ago, but I hope that you really are taking in exactly what happened nationwide. I mean, this wasn't just we won in a couple of places. This was a blue tsunami. It was beautiful.
Earthquake. It was an earthquake.
It was the exact opposite of what we felt in 2024 when we saw the results coming in. We got to actually enjoy this and watch the numbers go up and up and up instead of turn red. It was lovely. Right. It was lovely.
Right. Oh, yeah. No red mirage. None of that. Maybe a teeny bit of one for same day voting. But I mean, it was just blue and blue through and through. So well done, everybody. So your good trouble is to do something nice for yourself. Treat yourself, as they say on, what was that show? Parks and Rec, which I love.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we'll be right back with the good news. All right, so my household runs on head boops and toe picks and judgmental stares, which is why I am firmly team cat person. But sensitive stomachs turn meals into drama, and reading ingredient lists on cat food used to make me uneasy. But Smalls is real food with recognizable ingredients, and it's gentle on the guts, so they bring back happy, calm mealtime for everyone. So give your cat an early holiday gift. Check out our sponsor, Smalls. Smalls cat food is protein-packed recipes made from preservative-free ingredients, and it's delivered straight to your door. For a limited time, you get 60% off your first order, plus free shipping. Just head to smalls.com/dailybeans. Now, I care about the ingredients and I care about routine, so Smalls fits our home perfectly. The last meal I served was chicken, and the bowls were spotless within minutes. They are the Clean Plate Club cats. Their breath is much better now, and their fur feels silkier every week. They don't shed as much, too. I also added a treat from each box, usually freeze-dried chicken bites, which feels like a small holiday surprise. And what I love the most is how calm mealtime has become. No more pacing or upset stomachs or hairballs or, getting rid of it right after you eat it. Just happy crunching. Small says 88% of cat owners notice health improvements after switching, and you could try it risk-free with a refund if your cat refuses the food, so there's no risk. It feels good to have real ingredients that support health and their happiness, and getting started is super easy. I answered a few questions about diet, health, and flavor preferences, and Smalls built a plan that really matched what my cats love to eat, not what shelf labels suggest. So what are you waiting for? Give your cat the food they deserve. For a limited time, because you listen to the Daily Beans, you get 60% off your first order, plus free shipping. Just head to smalls.com/dailybeans. One last time, 60% off your first order and free shipping when you head to smalls.com/dailybeans. You'll be glad you did. Everybody, welcome back. It's time for the good news.
What's good news, everyone? Then good news, everyone.
Good news. And if you have any good news whatsoever, big, small, maybe just tell us the story of you watching the election results. Would love to relive that with you. I think it would put a great big smile on everybody's face. We all want to share in everybody's good news. Send it to us. It can be a shout out to a loved one, shout out to yourself, maybe a nonprofit in your area, maybe a food bank that you're helping deliver food to people now that Trump has decided that he's going to starve everyone until we agree to gut healthcare. I think that's the deal that he's got on the table right now. So a shout out to a government program that you want to support would be wonderful as well. You can also send in your thesis and dissertation titles. We would love to hear what you've written about. Everyone who listens to this show is so smart, way smarter than me. It's pretty awesome. You can also show us pictures when you pay your pod pet tariff to get your stuff read on the air. That picture can be a photo of something you're making and creating, right? Like you're knitting or painting or writing poetry or making music. You can send us a clip. We would love to hear about it. Send it all to us, dailybeanspod.com, and click on contact. And if you don't have a photo like that of what you're making or creating, you can pay your pod pet tariff with your pod pet. Show us a photo of your pet or an adoptable pet in your area, or really just any random animal on the internet, including bird watching photos, which can be a bird, or you and your family and friends flipping the bird to Trump buildings. We love those photos too. All right. First up, Dana from Dale, pronouns he and him, mainly writing because I love how you report on the deaths of horrible people. Barely. Mainstream outlets go on at length about their influence while talking around their misdeeds.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that right? What's his name died? That's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
What's his
Dana,
name? I don't even. Yeah.
Last night at the very end of the discussion and the long story short, and I'm talking very, very at length about, certain things that happened that day in the news, and Dick Cheney died. We'll be right back with the hot notes. That's literally how it went.
That's all he deserved.
That's literally how it went. You have
I'm
more
sorry
of
Liz Cheney lost her dad, but I am not sorry this country lost a war criminal.
Yeah. Dale says, you have more of a, if you can't say anything nice approach. Missed opportunity correction. I think Norfolk was always pronounced Norfolk instead of sounding like it looks. Yeah. Probably, Dale, I get that right because I was in the Navy, right? And Norfolk is one of our biggest bases. But Dana, having not been in the Navy, might not know that. I had concerns with a Solo Beans talk test episode, but you really brought it. You brought the delight I love to hear that usually comes from good rapport. Please enjoy Barney, the camera-shy Ohioan cow dog.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
I love this. Dale's like, we barely missed Dana at all. Allison, you really held down the fort on your own. Dale, I'm totally kidding. I know one day I'm going to have to do a solo video without her too, and I hope that I can hold it down as well as Allison does.
It was just so advantageous that I had some of the script to the sandwich guy.
That's right. That's
trial.
Right.
That helped.
My hope is that someone throws another deli object at a National Guard person before I have to do mine.
Look at this pupper. How adorable.
So
Thank
cute.
you for that, Dale. So Dana got it. Norfolk.
All right. Mm-hmm. This is from Anonymous, pronouns she and her. Good morning, Beanie Babes. I want to give a shout out to you, Allison, and to you, Dana, for making a very dark day a lot brighter for me. When I heard your Tuesday podcast where you discussed the sandwich guy, maybe manwich, I started to laugh and I just couldn't stop. Hearing both of you laugh was magic for me. It was such a simple thing and it meant the world to me. Thank you both.
Aww.
Laughter really is the best medicine. For my pod pet tariff, I'm enclosing a photo of the mountains near my home. The colors were just starting to change. Thanks again for all you do. And Anonymous, you got a great view.
That's a beautiful picture.
Yeah. When Allison and I get going with our laughter, honestly, it's one of my favorite parts.
Do you recognize that sandwich? Oh man, you can't handle a sandwich. I need a crossover. I need a mashup. A few good men. All right.
Have to have an editor listening.
I know. Next up from Anonymous, furloughed Fed who will be pissed if the Dems cave on ACA subsidies. Hi, Beans Queens. Thanks for what you do and the rest of the Leguminati. Everything you do to make the world a better place. I'm currently furloughed as a furloughed Fed with time on my hands. Twice a week for the past 3 weeks, I've been waking up early to attend an interfaith vigil outside an immigration court building. We hold signs and sing songs and give out red cards in English and Spanish that tell people what their rights are with respect to ICE. We give people a phone number for the local rapid response team, aka the trained folks you call if you see ICE. We also let people know that others are thinking of them and answer questions if approached. It's amazing to see clergy and lay people from different faiths coming together to make the world a slightly better place. Even though it sucks that this is the world we live in, it's nice to do something collectively to pierce a little of the darkness that seems to have overtaken our country. I couldn't agree more. Dana, I mean, it's in dark times that we see the helpers, right?
Oh boy, absolutely.
My good news is that I had a contractor come by my place to give me a quote. They mentioned that they're an immigrant and their parents run a company that employs many Latinos. I gave the contractor one of the red cards with the information about your rights with respect to ICE and the number of the local rapid response group. The contractor was super grateful. They said they'd scan it and make copies and make sure their parents and parents' coworkers had the information. In a way, you could say that Republican shutdown has caused more people to learn their rights, which is a good thing in my book. My pod pet tariff, aka the only type of tariff that actually helps America, is attached. It used to be pod pet tax, but we changed it to tariff just to kind of drive home the point that tariffs are taxes. It's my doggo in her shirt that says, all for love, love for all, laying on her mat at the most recent interfaith vigil. Thanks again for all that you and the Leguminati do. Keep up the good fight. And know that together we will get through this. I think that we proved that last night, too. Look at this sweet baby.
Oh.
So very cute. Thank you so much for that. That's a heartwarming story.
It is. All right. We've got Mark R. No pronouns given. Greetings, Leguma ladies. Yesterday, Election Day, my friend Mike and I did a photo shoot at the Autumn Colors in Central Park. Despite the news of New York City being a crime-ridden hellscape, I'm pleased to report that it is packed with people of all ages, genders, colors, and languages going about their business, making the city a wonderful place.
Mark, let us know how you're surviving the socialist hellscape.
I know. And Sharia law. Former governor and failed mayoral candidate Cuomo can say that, and I quote, diversity can be a weakness all he wants, but the vast diversity in all the best possible ways that New York has to offer puts the lie to that offensive. Well, lie. I live about 70 miles north of the city, and I don't get down there as often enough, but wanted to photograph the fall colors in the park as well as visit MoMA and finally see in person Wyeth's Christina's World and Van Gogh's Starry Night. I was pleasantly surprised to find Dali's Persistence of Memory on display. You know, the one with the melting clocks? I didn't know that. Now I want to go. I was shocked at how tiny the painting actually is and how huge Matisse's painting of women dancing in a circle is. Anyway, we walked to Fifth Avenue to get the park and passed by Trump Tower, so we decided to do some bird watching at this mother shit itself. We hope you enjoy the photo. That's me on the left and Mike on the right. I host the podcast Random Schmuck and Mike, a retired Army colonel, hosts War Vet Yak, all one word. That's amazing. Awesome. We love your work, and we appreciate the time and effort you put into all your MSW projects. Please keep filling our ear holes. You guys are adorable.
Look at this. This is fantastic. I'm so glad you got down there to take the photos of the changing leaves and do a little bird watching.
Yeah, I went a couple of weeks ago, and I think maybe there's more colors now, but I got one good shot by the bridge, the famous bridge that everyone likes to look at, and it's actually a beautiful picture with the leaves behind it. So it's such a lovely time to be in New York.
Yeah, New York in the fall is amazing.
It's the best.
Starry Night's gorgeous. Yeah, I didn't know Persistence of Memory was on display there right now. Wow, very cool. And yeah, that's one thing. And whenever you study art, they just show you the art. They don't give you a banana for scale or anything. I think they should start doing that, because I was very surprised at the size of the Mona Lisa, and also surprised at the size of Sunday Afternoon in a Park. It's massive.
Yeah, and the Mona Lisa is like a stamp you would put on an envelope.
It's literally like an 11 by 8.5 by 11. It's very, very small. Anyway, it's funny when you study art or look at art and you see it so many times, but you have no idea the size of it. I remember when I went to see into the Ägyptisches Museum in Berlin, and I saw the Nefertiti. She's massive. She's gigantic. It's gorgeous. Yeah. And I had no idea she was so big. Breathtaking. Anyway, next up from Anonymous. Hey, Beans Queens, I'd like to shout out the Swindled podcast. It's a great podcast that covers all kinds of underhanded dealings, and the concerned citizens who hosts it as the perfect voice to describe the scams. After yesterday's election victories, I was especially delighted to find that the latest episode features George Santos, the fabulist. When you listen to it, remember that Republicans enabled him and Trump pardoned him. The part about Sapphire will break your heart again. There, we'll have a link to that in the show notes. Here's a photo. Actual snakes are helpful members of a system. For my pod pet tags, here's a delicate ringneck snake I found in my garden the other day. I love snakes. I really do, Anonymous. Thank you for this. That's really cool. Ooh. Swindled podcast. We'll have a link to that. Dana, today I listened to, again, for the second time, the second episode of Martin Sheen's podcast, where he interviews his son, Ramon. I learned that Martin Sheen's name is Ramon Estevez. I didn't know that, and that he named his son after him.
Oh, wow.
And there's an incredible story about how he almost met Fellini with Ava Gardner.
Oh, my God.
It's blowing my mind. I am obsessed with this podcast. You guys are going to love it. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there too. So we'll have links to both of these in the show notes.
Perfect. This one's from Susie B, pronouns she and her. Hey, Beans Queens, I'm a newish listener. I discovered your podcast via recommendation from the Gen X Woman Are Sick of This Shit Facebook page. I now have a new Facebook page I have to go to.
Look that one up.
I know. I listen to you every day on my lunch break, and the good news, good trouble helps me reframe my day. I have a bit of good news on a small local level. I live in Charlotte. The city of Charlotte has had a council-manager government since 1929. Never in its history has my district had a Democratic representative until today. For the first time ever, a Democrat has flipped the seat by 3,745 votes. The pendulum is swinging. For my pod pet tariff, I'm submitting a photo of my daughter at her first protest on the day the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. In 2019, I became a badass solo mom via gamete donation. Gamete donation. Thank you. I chose to become a mother my way and on my terms. It kills me that the reproductive freedom that allowed me to have my daughter is being stripped away state by state. Thank you for all you do. Keep putting one step in front of the other, and soon they'll be walked out the door.
Yeah.
And this sign with your gorgeous child says, I'm the boss of my own body.
That's so great. I'm so sad that we still have to try to protest for that we have to try to convince other people that we're the bosses of our own bodies.
I know.
In 2025. But here we are. And what an adorable baby. Look at that hair.
No, so beautiful.
The cheeks. I want to eat them. Oh,
yeah.
So very adorable. Everybody, thank you so much for your good news. This good news sesh coupled with this election sesh.
So good.
I'm just on cloud 9 right now. I'm going to enjoy this for as long as I can. I'm going to keep doing the work. Don't worry. Because this is, what we did last night is the beginning. It's the beginning.
Yeah, it really is.
And now the hard work starts.
Yeah.
We've got to, but to know we can do it and that there are so many more of us than there are of them. That's what I wanted to create this community for, so we could keep reminding ourselves of that, because one day we'd be able to prove it.
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody, thank you so much. Do you have any final thoughts today, my friend?
Just a little reminder, if you're in the Chicago area, I've got 24 tickets left as of this recording, 24 tickets left for my 9 p.m. show at the Annoyance Theater on November 14th. It's just a week from, Friday. So go get them. DanaGoldberg.com, hit my tour schedule, go down just a couple dates and come play with us in Chicago. You got a lot going on over there and you could use some community and laughter. So I'm hoping to deliver that.
Agreed. And if you haven't seen Dana live and you have the opportunity, take it. Absolutely take it. All right, everybody. We're going to be, I'm going to be back in your ears tomorrow solo. Dana's going to be traveling again, doing the wonderful and amazing work that she does to raise funds for communities that need it. And for, these efforts, whether it's legal or whether you're doing Lambda legal or if you're, fundraising for, all reproductive rights, LGBTQ plus community, there's just so much. And you've raised over $70 million. It's just brilliant. And so I'm very happy to cover for you tomorrow, my friend. And we'll both be back in your ears. What does that bring us to, Monday?
Yeah.
I don't even know what today is. I'm just in such a good mood. Anyway, we'll see you then. Until then, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of the planet, take care of your mental health, and take care of your family. I've been AG.
I've been DG.
And them's the beans.
The Daily Beans is written and executive produced by Allison Gill with additional research and reporting by Dana Goldberg. Sound design and editing is by Desiree McFarlane, with art and web design by Joelle Reeder with Moxie Design Studios. Music for The Daily Beans is written and performed by They Might Be Giants, and the show is a proud member of the MSW Media Network, a collection of creator-owned podcasts dedicated to news, politics, and justice. For more information, please visit mswmedia.com.
MSW Media.